Welcome to Comic Con.
Welcome to Comic Con.
Welcome to Comic Con.
Hello, I'm Tim Russ, Star Trek Voyager. Welcome to Comic Con Gibraltar.
The event included guests from Game of Thrones to Star Trek, who met fans, signed autographs and posed for photographs. Seminars also gave a behind-the-scenes insight into the world of film and television.
Beautiful weather, the beautiful views, and yes, The Rock is very impressive. But other than that, I really haven't had time to take in the city. Just been working. It's a work weekend. The most memorable aspect of working on that show was essentially the friends that I made that are long-term and who I see at least once or twice a year at conventions in some cases, and I live in the city with several of them. But you know, those relationships are very solid and they're ongoing, and I relish those relationships with those guys, because that's you know, that's 7 years. You spent a heck of a lot. You spent more time there than you did with your own family on the studio lot, you know, and it becomes almost like a second home.
It's great fun. I've had a really good couple of days, met a lot of people. We were taken on a tour around Gibraltar, particularly up in the rock, in the tunnels, St. Michael's Cave. Stunning. Game of Thrones had already become kind of legendary. The odd thing about Game of Thrones is when you're doing it, it's like doing a movie. You get out into the real world, and suddenly you realize that the three words Game of Thrones are familiar to 95% of the world's population. Wherever you go and somebody says, "What? So you're an actor, what have you done?" And you say, "Game of Thrones." They go, "Game of Thrones? Oh!" And you say, "Do you like it?" And they say, "I've never seen it." I mean, obviously the people who have seen it or read it love it, but people who haven't know their response is supposed to be, "Wow!" And that's very strange.
This is so different to any other Comic Con that I've ever been to, in a really, really good way. I've never been to Gibraltar before, which is a plus, so I'm experiencing a new place, and everyone's lovely here and friendly, and the sun is shining. On paper, it was very much like, oh my god, this is either going to really work or absolutely fall on its face, like, because it was very risky, because a lot of money needed to be invested, and it relied on huge CGI effects, which over time got better, but I think when they initially started they were still really, really good as well. Framestore did a really, really great job on it. So yeah, when the project came about, I'd been doing a bit of acting, and I sort of acted before the band. I got involved in a lot of theatre work before Sub 7. So it was kind of a natural progression for me, even though, you know, I was very lucky to be involved in S7 and work off the back of that to propel me into the acting world, even though it was very different from the band. So yeah, I mean, for me it was a natural progression because it's where I'd always wanted to go. Always loved the acting side, and was very excited to get back to that after the band finished. It's actually 20 years next year, and it feels like a long time ago. Not that long ago, like 20 years is a long time, but yeah, I mean, we're still all like in contact, and you know, maybe next year there might be something on the cards, but we haven't solidified anything yet.
Oh, wow, is that an exclusive? I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, but yeah, it might be nice to do something, so you never know, there could be something.
I'd love to come back to Gibraltar. It's a beautiful place. All I want to say to the people of Gibraltar is you are so lucky. Look at this place. It is gorgeous. Most of the things I do, it's what they call extra work. It's supporting artist work. But it enables me to have different roles in many different films. That's why you can see me in... I've worked on over 30 movies in 6 years. So that's, you know, and many, many TV shows.
Also represented were stores, both local and from across the border, selling toys and memorabilia. And local and international illustrators also showcased their art.